Hey, how are you guys? Happy Monday. Welcome back to Monday Madness. If you don't know who I am, my name is Casey Zell. This is my channel. And on Monday nights, I come on here to basically run my mouth about whatever's going on in my life, in my writing career, and whatever's on my mind. So welcome everybody. Oh, I don't have the chat up. Hold on. Let's see. Oh, hey, Melissa's here. And Jonathan, thank you so much. I'm so excited about that cover. That was not one of the ones I had queued up to share tonight. But yes, I'm super excited about Mage Light. Maybe we'll talk about that a little bit. Hey, Donnie and Marie on the go. Yes, still not a bot. Good to hear, man. Good to hear. Glad to hear that. So yes, welcome to Monday Madness. Today's what is it? It's the 13th. So I sometimes have the feeling that I'm like the only one who ever remembers this, but like every time it's Monday the 13th, all I can think of is that cartoon cat Garfield and how much he hated Monday the 13th. Like he hated Mondays, but Monday the 13th was like the worst. So yeah, there you go. Welcome. You're welcome for that insight into this depraved brain of mine. So, all right. Couple of announcements real quick. Hang on. I flipped away from my notes page like, a very prepared person would obviously do. But I do have a couple of things to talk about. First one is next week will be the 20th of January because, oh, yeah, man. Sounds good. We can see you in Garfield reference. Yeah, so sorry. Next week, the 20th of January, I will not be going live because I will be on the road. My family and I are taking a trip to down to Virginia to visit family. And then we are also, that weekend, I will be a featured guest at MarsCon in Virginia Beach, Virginia. So if you're in the Tidewater, Virginia area and you want to come hang out for the weekend, go check out the website. I'll put a link in the description as soon as we're done with the live stream here. But if you just Google search like MarsCon Virginia Beach, it should come. It's like the first thing that comes up. So I believe there's still tickets available, and it's going to be a good time. So Christopher Rocchio is one of the literary guests of honor, and off the top of my head, I don't remember who the other literary guest of honor is, but yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun. Heather Hollow and Jacob Hollow are gonna be there, so I'm excited to see them. My friend Melissa, who is in the chat right now, is gonna be there. Yeah, we are gonna have so much fun. So the person in charge of programming is a friend of mine, and I got a glimpse into some of the panels and stuff. You guys, you're gonna love it. So you should definitely check it out. Brian, we'll see you there. That sounds great, man. I'm excited to see you. So yeah, so that's big news. MarsCon is coming up. It's actually the end of this weekend, and then after MarsCon, like I said, I'll still be on the out of town because we're going to spend a couple of days on the back end with our family in Virginia before we drive on back up here to New England. So I won't see you next week, but the week after I should be back, pending, I don't know, whatever. It's just a plan from which to deviate, right? And no plan survives first contact. We know this. So yeah. So besides getting ready for MarsCon, there's been a lot going on, you guys. I've probably talked about some of this before, but as you no doubt know, released a new book at the beginning of January or beginning of December. That was 1919, The Romanov Rising with Tom Kratman and Justin Watson. We've got a video here on the channel if you want to check that out. Excuse me, I'm sorry. And then Marisa's here. Perfect timing. Exquisite. Could not be better because just released a book this week too, or last week on Friday. Blood of Her Father, that I co-wrote with the lovely and talented and amazing Marisa Wolf, is available right now on Amazon. It is in Kindle Unlimited if you're interested in reading that way. It's always better with Marisa. I mean, true, she really does. She really does bring out the like you were summit. She brings out the best in my writing for sure, for sure. Reese's timing is awesome, 100%. It's certainly what Jeremy said. So, yes, Blood of Her Father available now. So, as you may have noticed from the beautiful cover, this is an Ashes of Anticia novel, which brings up a point that I want to make. And I would love it if you guys, my friends, my community, my fans would spread this word. Ashes of Anticia is a space opera series, but it is designed specifically to be a bit of a sandbox environment, right? So we have the initial trilogy, which is here behind me, so lovingly displayed, with The Queen's Fixer, The King's Daughter, and The Conqueror's Promise. Those three are a trilogy. Read those in order. However, you do not have to have read these three in order to read Blood of Her Father. Just like you don't have to have read these three in order to read Remnants of Empire, which is the anthology that we did that's technically book 4 in the series. I specifically wanted to create a like vast world-spanning galactic setting where that had all of these cool nooks and crannies in it where we could tell all kinds of stories and all kinds of timelines and stuff. So the bottom line is go read Blood of Her Father. If you haven't read these three, that's okay. You can read Blood of Her Father first and then just go back and read these. You might have a minor spoiler or two, but nothing that impacts the overall plot really. So yeah, it's a sandbox. Enjoy. If you've never read Ashes of Anticia, this would be a great place to start. If you are just, that kind of completionist, you want to start at the beginning, first book is here, Queen's Fixer. And then, because why not, I'll go ahead and show you the other three too. King's Daughter is book 2 by me and Chris Kennedy. And then book 3 is The Conqueror's Promise, also by me and Chris Kennedy. Whoop. There we go. And I can't talk about these books without talking about these amazing covers that Sam Kennedy did for us. So this art is breathtaking, you guys. I freaking love it. I love it. I love it. And I also love that this is the comment that I've left up for Marisa for so long. Yeah. So if you've read Blood of Her Father and you're in the chat, let us know what you think. If you liked it, if you didn't like it, I would love it if you would keep that opinion to yourself. That would be amazing. But I am confident that you're going to love it because, again, you guys, this book was so much fun to write. So a little bit of backstory. I actually got the invitation. It is actually directly related to MarsCon is the reason why this book is what it is today. Because Marisa and I had vague plans to co-write a book about these particular characters sometime, right? So back in, I guess it was August. I think it was August. MarsCon approached me and asked if I would be interested in being a featured guest because they're focusing on space opera this year. And, I have this space opera series that we launched last year and is ongoing and going strong thanks to you guys. And I was like, yes, I would love to. And I thought to myself, wouldn't it be cool if we had a brand new release just in time for MarsCon? And so I got in touch with Chris Kennedy, the publisher, also affectionately known as the Factory Boss, one of my Ashes of Anticia co-authors. And I was like, hey man, if I wanted you to publish a book the week before MarsCon, when would I have to have it turned in by? And he said, October 15th. And I said, ooh, okay, let's see. And I reached out to Marisa, who, like I said, we had plans to write this together at some point. And I was like, hey, girl, you think we could knock this out by then? To which she responded, fuck yeah, let's rage. 10 minutes and 16 seconds. You're welcome. But yeah, let's rage. That's what she said. And so we did, man. We raged. We knocked this sucker out in 5 weeks. We did a lot of co-writing in a way that I do not co-write with anyone else. Rage. So yeah, we drew a lot on our shared history as like fan fiction co-writers to really write this thing. And it was it was a lot of fun, and it really came together very well. The voices of the characters are so strong, and the plot is twisty, and there's, it's got some patented Casey and Marisa gut punch moments in there. It's got some moments of heartbreak, some moments of thanks, Jonathan. Yeah. It was pretty incredible. Like, while we were doing it, I was like, holy shit, we are rocking this thing. Like, I cannot believe. And there was a point during the middle of it where I was like, we are going so fast, there's no way that this is going to be any good. But when we read it back through, I was like, damn, she really does bring out the best in me. She's, that's just, she's that good, you guys. So yes, so go read Blood of Her Father. If you love it, like I'm confident that you will, consider leaving a review, tell your friends about it. It is a worthy addition to the Ashes of Antisea universe, for sure. Yeah, it's fucking teamwork. Oh man, you guys, of course, like the minute I go live, I get a tickle in my throat. I'm sorry, give me a sec. So, okay. So yeah, that one came out last Friday on the 10th. So available now. Go check it out. The other thing that has been sort of consuming my my energy and my thoughts lately is this bad boy. You guys, if you are unfamiliar, let me introduce you to Shadow Card Guardian. Shadow Card Guardian is a lit RPG deck builder series that I wrote in the world created by John Stovall for his Demon Card Enforcer series, which is chef's kiss good. It's so good. It's a like a kind of like an urban fantasy noir. And when I say lit RPG deck builder, so you probably know what these things mean, but I'm just going to define it for you just in case, right? It's just so we're all on a level playing field. So a lit RPG story is one where it's structured very much like almost like a video game or a role-playing game, right? That's where lit RPG comes from, is role-playing game, not Rocket Propel Grenade, for those of you who get that reference. What's up, Seth? I'm so excited to see you at MarsCon this weekend. But yes, so lit RPG is a story that mimics the structure of a game, right? And to include actually having statistics on the page. So one of the, this one is, and oftentimes, particularly in what they call like progression fantasy, one of the plot points of the story is actually the character being aware of these statistics and deliberately setting out, taking actions in order to increase their statistics, just like you would maybe grind levels in a video game if you were playing a role-playing game, video game type of situation. So so that being said, this one is a deck builder. So the mechanic, the sort of game mechanic is that every 10 years, the gods of this world, of which there are many, and they're kind of capricious, which are my favorite kind of gods, written gods or the capricious ones. They hold what's called drop night. And on drop night, the gods will gift 1 in 500 mortals with a deck of magical cards. These cards are incredibly valuable and incredibly powerful. And they have they'll change someone's life. The premise of my story, well, let me back up and talk about John's story for a minute. Demon Card Enforcer. In Demon Card Enforcer, it's a sort of this it's set in the city called Noirmore. It's this cool, like, noir urban fantasy story because the main character is a mob enforcer who's gifted a deck of cards by one of the gods of the underworld for the express purpose of essentially policing the other members of the underworld. And it's kind of like, sometimes you need a bad guy to hunt the other bad guys, right? Great story. I will link it in the description. You should definitely go check it out. It is available. Books 1 and 2 are available on Amazon in Kindle Unlimited. If you're interested in, if you have a Kindle Unlimited subscription and would like to read it that way. But you can also find book 3 on this site called Royal Road, which I'll talk about here more in a second as well. So I read this book, loved it, got talking with John, got inspired, and he very generously allowed me to write Shadow Card Guardians, which is set in his universe at the same time as the first book of Demon Card Enforcer. So the premise of my story is that not the same god that gifted John's main character, but a different goddess, Nyx, the goddess of night, decided to gift her deck to the young man on the cover there, who turned 14 years old on drop night. So now you have a 14-year-old kid with this like world-shatteringly powerful deck of magical cards, and his guardian, who is his aunt, because his parents were part of his backstory is that his parents were killed a couple of years prior to that in a car accident. So his aunt, who's a combat veteran and an ER nurse, so she's a tough chick, but she's like, holy shit, my kid now has a target painted on him, and I will do anything to protect my kid. So that's the setup, and the premise of Shadow Card Guardian, and I'm really, really excited about it, and I'm so proud of it. And so you may be asking yourself, why does it say read for free? Well, because here's the thing. Part of what I wanted to do with Shadow Card Guardian is sort of expand my audience, right? I mean, this is a lit RPG story. I wanted to kind of get into the lit RPG world. And in order to do that, I decided that I am serializing this story on a site called Royal Road. Royal Road is where it's an online site. You can go and find free fiction in serial format, and it's there for you to read. As of today, I think I put up my 23rd chapter of Shadow Card Guardian today. Right now I'm posting every day. That'll drop down in a couple of weeks to every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, simply because of algorithmic and sustainability reasons. But the idea is that I'm posting consistently chapters of Shadow Card Guardian, which is written. Like the first full book is done. I'm working on book 2 right now. And so once I get all of book 1 posted, I will start posting book 2 up on Royal Road. I'm doing this for 2 reasons. 1, like I said, I want to build my audience, but 2, I'm also kind of using it as a funnel, because the thing is that since this book is done, if you decide that you read it on Royal Road and you're like, man, I love this, I got to find out what happens next, I got you. Paid members of my Dragon's Horde membership, which you can join on the website, the link is in the description again, get early access to my chapters. My Guardian Deck Bearer tier has the entire work all the way through to the end posted and available for Guardian Deck Bearer tiers to read, and my Guardian Card Holder tier has 10 chapters ahead of where Royal Road is. So those options are available to you if that fits your life and your budget. And, thanks for considering, I guess. but if you just want to read it for free too, I highly recommend that you go over and check it out on Royal Road, see if it's for you, see if you like it. And if you do like it, which again, I'm confident you will, I'm really proud of the story, you guys. It also has some patented Casey Ezel gut punch moments, a lot of emotion, right? In fact, there's one interaction that I had with one of the readers over there that I'm actually really proud of. So I'll go ahead and share it with you here. So without spoilers, at a certain part in the story, Danny and Jake have to fight some monsters that are very difficult for them to fight for one reason or another. And yes, Gamer Dane, yes, several large series did get their start on Royal Road, right? Like real large ones, right? But anyway, sorry, I'm jumping all over the place. I'm just so excited to talk to you guys. But back to what I was saying, this was like I think I posted this chapter last Friday, but there's a scene where Danny and Jake have to fight some monsters that are very difficult for them to fight emotionally for a number of reasons. And at the end of it, Jake, who, let's remember, is a child, right? He just turned 14. He's a kid. Jake, who is doing his best to keep it together, loses his composure and starts to cry afterwards. And Danny holds him and hugs him and tells him that he did great and reassures him that, it sucks that he had to do that, but he's doing a great job, right? Afterwards, and I'm kind of paraphrasing myself, but he says something to the effect of, I'm sorry, I'm crying like a baby. To which she says, well, are you though? And he said, what do you mean? She said, are you crying like a baby? Are you crying and hoping someone else will come along and fix your problem for you? Or are you acting like a man and a warrior and handling your emotions processing your emotions in a safe, healthy environment so that they don't come back and bite you in the ass later? Now, I wrote that because that was a lesson that I had to learn in my life, right? Like, the thing is, we as humans, we are totally capable of learning to compartmentalize our emotions, put them in a box and tuck them away in order to focus on the mission or an objective. The thing is, unfortunately, we can only do that well, it's not even unfortunate, but it's just the truth, right? We can only really do that for a finite period of time because eventually those emotions will always come back. And if you don't handle them on your terms in a safe environment for yourself to do that, they will bite you in the ass at the worst possible moment. And so that's the lesson that Danny is trying to teach Jake in this scene. And I wrote that scene, posted that chapter, and I got so many comments from readers on Railroad who were like, oh my gosh, thank you for addressing mental health. Thank you for, especially as relates to men, right? I had one reader who was like, you have no idea how many times men are just told to, suck it up and don't be a pussy. And, but you guys, I've known some incredibly tough men in my life. I've worked with them. I married one. The toughest men are those who handle their emotions in a healthy and safe manner, because if not, that shit it comes back to bite you, and it always happens at the worst possible moment, right? So my advice to anyone is process your emotions, handle it somewhere and some place and some time where you are safe, and it is a healthy environment, and you can do that. Don't think that you can compartmentalize forever. So sorry, that got a little deep there, but my point is, this is an emotional story, and I'm super, super proud of it. And I'm really grateful for the readers that I do have already on Railroad, and I would love to have more. I would love for you guys to join me over there if you haven't. So yeah, if you feel inclined, go check it out. It's we're doing pretty well right now. We're on, I think we're number 27 or 28 on the Rising Stars list, which is like, kind of like the top 50 new stories, if you will. I would love to get in that top half. And so any views of the story on Railroad really help. Views help, reviews help, telling your friends and recommending, sending people over there, all of that helps. So if you, like I said, if you feel so inclined, I would really, really appreciate that. Yeah, sometimes it is needed to go deep, right? I mean, that's kind of what we were talking about. Yeah, sometimes it's needed. It's needed. So Melissa agrees with me. So yeah, that's a lot of what's been going on with me lately. Just focusing, learning a lot about the whole process of posting serial, writing in the web serial format, continuing the serial onwards. I'm currently working on, like I said, Shadow Card Guardian 2. Also working on the sequel to my fantasy novel that will be coming out in May, but I'm not going to talk a lot about that one tonight because more information will be forthcoming at MarsCon about that. So very exciting. Let's see. The other thing that I wanted to talk about real quick, we're probably not going to go for the full hour tonight, you guys. I don't have a ton to discuss, but the other thing that I did, I mean, it's not really secret, but we want to, yeah, we want the events at MarsCon to have the impact that they should have, right? For the people who are able to make it there. So, the other thing that I wanted to talk about just a little bit, is I wanted to kind of do sort of an ongoing discussion, I guess, about my goals. So this year, as usual, I'm using Sarah Cannon's HB90 planning system, which includes like a full like goals planner and everything like that. And it's if I have a couple of videos on the channel about HB90 and why I love it and why it works so well for me. But it's definitely it has definitely changed the game for me as far as like my own personal organization and productivity, not just as a writer, but just as a human with a brain and too many inputs. So, but part of the process for HB90 is it's like a 90-day recurring system. And part of the process is you go and you figure out what your goals are for those 90 days. And then you track and see how you're doing and all this kind of stuff. I'm explaining this so badly, and I beg you to indulge me on this, but I'm trying to find a page where I wrote down my goals so I can tell you exactly what they are. Here they are. So, like I said, this is part of the HB90 planner that she created, and it's available. If you have more questions about it, feel free to reach out to me, and I'm happy to answer your questions. You can also check out Sarah's channel, Heart Breathings, here on YouTube, where she goes into like a ton of detail about the HB90 system, the Kanban board, and all that kind of stuff. So, but I love it. It works really well for me. So each quarter we talk about 3 goals, right? For me, this is what I'm working on this quarter. Goal number 1 is write and publish new books in order to increase my writing income too. And then I have like a good, better, best numerical that I'm not going to share, but to these 3 amounts, good, better, best per month, right? And I chose this goal because it will help me to, better help provide financially for my family. And I think it's important. One of the things that I love about this is Sarah really emphasizes like, understand your why, right? Understand why you're choosing this goal, and make sure that it is truly a goal for you, that you are intrinsically motivated to accomplish, not something that someone is telling you, oh, you should make this your goal. You should do this for yourself. I personally love that because I'm the kind of person that, like, if it's not something I'm intrinsically motivated to do, I'm probably not going to do it. I'm probably just going to blow it off. That's for better or for worse. That's just how I am. Right. At least for like big, for like overarching goals. Right. Small tasks where I don't want to do, but someone's like, hey, you got to do that. Then yeah, I'll figure out a way to get it done. But you know what I'm saying, right? Like it's gotta be, I gotta be internally motivated to really put effort towards something. So anyway, so that's goal number 1, write and publish new books in order to increase my writing income to these 3 amounts per month. Goal number 2 is to increase my social media following by 10%, 20%, or 30% on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram, and Twitter. So part of that is actually reviving these live streams and coming and chatting with you guys on Monday nights and talking about things. So I'll talk in a little bit about like the tasks and stuff, but yeah, so that's part of that. So thanks for being part of helping me accomplish goal number 2. And then goal number 3 is to create and sustain personal and home care habits that support my and my family's health and happiness. So this 3rd goal is a little bit more vague, not vague, but a little more catch-all, right? But really what it comes down to is, since moving up here to New England, I no longer work full-time outside my home. I'm writing full-time. I'm homeschooling my kiddo. But I'm also like primarily responsible for the homemaking aspect, right? Of cooking and cleaning and making sure that my home functions as a organization as a unit. I don't know, however you want to say it. And one of the things that I've discovered about myself is that when it comes to tasks that are naturally recurring, things like doing the laundry, making dinner, and cleaning the house, things that you can't just do once and be like, okay, it's done. I've done it. It's done forever. It's done. Great. Done. That it would be amazing if that were the case for things like laundry. More esoteric. Yeah, that's probably a better way to say it. But I kind of lost my train of thought. I'm sorry. But in order to accomplish those tasks that keep coming up again, I need to make a habit out of it. I did read Atomic Habits by that guy who wrote Atomic Habits. I think his name's James Clear. But and I enjoyed that book. I found a lot of good. I was able to pull a lot of good information from that book for me personally, for how I work. So so this third goal is really kind of about, okay, well, if you need to make habits, if you need to make routines, in order to make sure that dinner gets made and the laundry gets done and the house gets cleaned, on a recurring regular basis, then let's figure out what those habits are. Let's track and let's make sure that they're working, and just sort of essentially build a repertoire of habitual actions that are going to sustain not just my health and my family's health, but like the health of our home too. Does that make sense? Maybe, I don't know. We'll see. But the thing about these goals is that, once we create these goals, from there we break it down into, okay, well, what projects am I going to do that's going to support those, right? So like for the writing goal, it ends up being pretty simple. One of the projects is write the book, right? So these blue sticky notes that you see behind me, like this one here, is 3K. What that means is that I have written over 3,000 words on the draft of this book that I'm talking about here. So, my projects for my writing are write this sequel to my fantasy novel, write the sequel to Shadow Card Guardian, and I have a short story that I'm writing this quarter too, maybe two. So that's pretty much it as far as the writing goal is concerned. But I also said write and publish. And one of the things that we're going to do later in the quarter, and I'll talk more about this as we get closer, but my plan is to self-publish Shadow Card Guardian later in the quarter, so that I have basically a three-legged stool of publishing going on, where I'm publishing traditionally with Baen, with my Romanov series, and oh, hey camera, there we go, with my Romanov series, and with my fantasy series, and then publishing with small press independent publisher Chris Kennedy, publishing with my space opera series, and then self-publishing with my lit RPG series. That's sort of the overarching game plan. And I want to do it that way because I believe in diversification, right? I want many, many baskets for all of my eggs. But so those publishing tasks, things like, get a cover, which I have a cover. You saw it. It's beautiful. Make sure that the story's edited, get it formatted, all that kind of stuff. That all falls under goal number 1. Okay. Goal number 2, increasing social media. Those projects are things like reviving the Monday Madness live chats, making videos. I've got a video coming out on Wednesday that will be the start of a series of videos and also live streams, where I'll introduce you guys to my friend Cassie Emerson. She's another writer that I met actually through HB90, which is kind of fun, and where we talk a lot about like sort of the importance of writer community, but also like how are we moving forward with our goals? What are some of the obstacles that we have? Things like that. So doing those videos and posting about those, and then just posting about things in general, right? Hopefully you'll see me being more active on social media. That's, again, you guys can help hold me accountable. But I'm trying to post more often in order to increase my social media presence, in order to increase my social media following, like I talked about. So that's what the pink sticky notes on the Kanban board are for. And then goal 3 is, like I said, those habits and stuff, right? So with this one, like, it's down to things like, get up at a certain time every day, set my alarm and get up at a certain time every day, go to bed at a certain time every day, make sure that, by this time every day, like, we're starting to do homeschool, clean the bathroom once a week, all setting those routines. And part of my strategy with doing that is, like, I will choose a routine, I will set it, and then I'm tracking it. And again, using my planner for that, because I'm a planner girl. It's who I am. It's how I live. But tracking in my planner, like, the success of, okay, yes, I successfully did, was able to take this time to, spend 15 minutes tidying up every day this week, or I missed Monday because it was a crazy day and we were doing a bunch of shit, or whatever, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, right. Trying to look for some positive habit transfer. So, hey, Bob, good to see you. I'm so glad you're here. But yes, so that's goal number 3. And that is represented over here by these sticky notes, which there aren't very many of them because I haven't quite figured out how to translate them. So when I have those projects, the next step that I use in the HB90 is I typically break them down into individual tasks. So, like, while the project is write a novel, each task I break down by write 1,000 words, right? A traditional Kanban board goes from left to right. Sarah's HB90 Kanban boards, she flips it and has it go top to bottom. So the way that this is like, these are tasks that are still in to-do status that I have not yet started. These are tasks that are ongoing right now, or this week's tasks, and these are the ones that are done. Part of the reason this works is because there's a sense of accomplishment, right, that goes along with, like, yeah, I get to move that sticky note down. Woohoo! Like, it's a physical action that commemorates the completion of a task that kind of, it's, sort of rewarding that way. So, man, I went into a lot more detail than I meant to. Thanks for sticking with me, you guys. I hope it wasn't too boring. Yeah, so this is where we are this week, right? I'm about 3,000 words into the novel Work in Progress. I just finished, I finished chapter 2 of Shadowcar Guardian 2. And when I say finish, I mean finish the draft. I have not yet posted it on my website for the Guardian deck bearers. They will see it first, but I do want it to go through at least one set of editing eyes before I put it in front of people. So it will, the first place that it will show up will be on my website for those who have decided to join my my Guardian deck bearer tier. But I'm about halfway through chapter 3 also, so that one's ongoing. Hoping to finish that, if not tonight, then tomorrow. And I'm still going to try and work, even when we're on the road. I probably won't get as much done, and certainly not Friday through Sunday when we're actually at the convention doing things. But we'll see. We'll see what we can do. My overall goal with all of this, and I probably shouldn't use goal because I used it in another context, but I guess the big thing, the key, right, is I'm not trying to use these metrics and things to kick my own ass. This is not about beating myself up because I missed, I didn't write X amount of words this week, or I was hoping to have, 14,000 words done by the middle of January. No, this is not what that's about. This is more about, like, okay, I'm putting it out there to create a plan, understanding that it's something to deviate from. No plan survives first contact. I don't know how many times I'm going to say that in this video, but you guys know that, right? Like, life happens, things happen. And I refuse to go into 2025 beating myself up about things that are outside of my control. I really want to focus on sustainability this year in terms of like my writing pace, and which is weird because I've got a lot of projects going on and it kind of seems like the opposite is true, but the only hope that I have of actually completing all of these projects is to work at a sustainable pace, is to take care of myself, is to take care of my body, is to take care of my mind, is to take care of my creativity. If not, I'm going to break. Like, that's just the way that it is. So thanks for joining me, thanks for being part of my community. Thanks for cheering me on. Thanks for listening to me babble about all of these concepts and stuff. As we go on throughout the year, I'm going to talk about sustainable self-care. I'm going to talk about self-care specific to the creative mind and the things that I'm doing. I'm going to talk about creative rest and what does that mean and what works for me for that. And like I said last time, I'll bring friends on and we'll have these kind of conversations and these discussions because I think it's important. And I appreciate you guys walking this author journey with me. And yeah, hopefully it's a good time. So, all right. Well, we have been talking for about 40 minutes. So I think that's probably good enough. If you guys have questions and you would like me to answer them, feel free to leave them in the comments below. Feel free to let me know what you are focusing on in 2025, either in your work or in your hobbies or, just in general. Call it resolutions if you want, call it goals. I don't care. It's all semantics. Just let me know kind of what you're focusing on, where your brain is pointed this year as we start. Sorry, I've got the hiccups now. Dude, this is embarrassing. It's like my body's like, oh, you want to be in front of people? Okay, we'll make this fun. Sorry. Oh, you guys, Shammy's here. Yay, Shammy. So going back to what I was talking about earlier, Shammy is married to John Stovall, who is the guy who wrote Demon Card Enforcer and who worked with me on Shadow Card Guardian. So Shammy is the author of the Frith Chronicles and the rest of the Arcanist series, Shammy and the Cups. Yeah. But yes, Shammy wrote the Frith Chronicles and the rest of the Arcanist books, which there's a couple of other series names in there that I never get right. And in addition, she also wrote this incredible book called Time Marked Warlock and the sequel Chronos Warlock. They're so good, you guys. So good. So definitely go check those out as well. Bob says, spoonful of creamy peanut butter works like a champ. I've never tried that. I've done the white sugar, like spoonful of sugar and then wet it down and then eat that. Yeah, it's I've done that before and that works pretty well. It works for my kiddo. So I bet her hiccups are also awesome. So when you say shit like that, Bill, it makes it sound like you don't think that. And I know that that's not true, because she is awesome. And so, yeah, her hiccups also awesome. Breaking breaking in that sense of the word is bad. Should be avoided. So glad you've got a plan. Thanks. I mean, yes, at the very least, I have a plan to deviate from, right? So, Bob says instantaneously. Are we still talking about the hiccups? No, Melissa's just laughing. Which that checks. That sounds like Melissa. Bill never kids. Right. Yeah. This is my I believe you face, bro. Thank you, Shammy. Yeah, I think so too. I think this is going to be a good year for a lot of us. And I think I feel like for me and for a lot of the writers that I know, we've kind of been talking about this, and Shammy's one of them. I feel like a lot of us are kind of right on the edge of a level up. You know what I mean? This is going to be a big year. And I'm excited for it, and I'm so glad you guys are here with me. So anyway, I'll stop babbling at you. Thanks for joining me tonight and hanging out. Leave questions in the comments, leave comments in the comments. If you liked this video, I would love it if you would give me that Chuck Yeager thumbs up. That would really help me out. So please make sure that you do that, and go check out go check out my story for free on Royal Road. Go check out my story for free for Kindle Unlimited on Amazon. And yeah, so I will not see you next week. I will see you the week after. And if you're going to be at MarsCon, come say hi. So, all right. I'm Casey Zell, and this is my writer life. Thanks, guys. And now for the awkward clicking of the end buttons.